We are to speak in public, for this business will raise us all.
To laughter, as I take it, if the good truth were known.
Scene 2, a prison. Enter Paulina, a gentleman, and attendants.
Keeper of the prison, call to him, let him have knowledge who I am. Good lady, no court in Europe is too good for thee. What dost thou then in prison? Now, good sir, you know me, do you not?
For a worthy lady, and one whom I much honor.
Pray you then, conduct me to the queen.
I may not, madam. To the contrary, I have expressed commandment.
Here's a due, to lock up honesty and honor from the access of gentle visitors. It's lawful, pray you, to see her women, any of them, Emilia.
So please you, madam, to put apart these your attendants, I shall bring Emilia forth.
I pray now, call her. Withdraw yourselves.
And, madam, I must be present at your conference.
Well, be it so, prithee. Here's much ado to make no stain a stain, and passes colouring. Dear gentlewoman, how fares our gracious lady?
As well as one so great and so forlorn may hold together on her frights and griefs, which never tender lady hath borne greater. She is something, therefore, before her time delivered.
A boy?
A daughter, and a goodly babe, lustry, and like to live. The queen receives much comfort and says, my poor prisoner, I am as innocent as you.
I dare be sworn. These dangerous, unsafe loons in the king, beshrew them. He must be sold on it, and he shall. The office becomes a woman best. I'll take it upon me. If I prove honey-mouthed, let my tongue blister, and never to my red-looked anger be. The trumpet no more. Pray you, Emilia, commend my best obedience to the queen. If she dares trust me with her little babe, I'll show the king and undertake to be her advocate to the loudest. We do not know how he may soften at the sight of the child. The silence often of pure innocence persuades when speaking this.
Most worthy madam, your honor and your good is so evident that your undertaking cannot miss a thriving issue. There is no lady living so meet for this great errand. Please your ladyship to visit the next room. I will presently acquaint the queen of your most noble offer, who but today hammered of this design, but durst not tempt a minister of honor, lest she should be denied.
Tell her, Emilia, I'll use that tongue I have, if wit flow from it, as boldness from my bosom. Let's not be doubted, I shall do good.
Now be you blessed for it. I will to the queen. Please you come something nearer.
Madam, if it please the queen to send the babe, I know not what I shall incur to pass it, having no warrant.
You need not fear it, sir. The child was prisoner to the womb, and is by law in process of good nature, thence freed and enfranchised, not a party to the anger of the king, nor guilty of, if any be, the trespass of the queen.
I believe it. I do believe it.
Do not you fear, upon mine honor. I will stand betwixt you and danger.
Scene 3, a room in Leontes' palace. Enter Leontes, Antigonus, lords and servants.
Nor night, nor day, nor rest, it is but weakness to bear the matter thus, mere weakness. If the cause were not in being part of the cause, she's the adulteress, For the harlot king is quite beyond mine arm, out of the blank and level of my brain, plot proof. But she I can hook to me, say that she were gone, given to the fire, a moiety of my rest, might come to me again. Who's there?
My lord,
How does the boy?
he looks good rest tonight. 'Tis helped his sickness is discharged.
You see his nobleness, conceiving the dishonor of his mother. He straight declined, took it deeply, fastened and fixed the shame on it himself. Threw off his spirit, his appetite is sleep, and downright languished. Leave me solely, go, see how he fares. Fie, no thought of him, the thought of my revenges, that way recoil upon me, in himself too mighty, and in his parties, his alliance, let him be until a time may serve for present vengeance. Take it on her. Camillo and Polixene laugh at me, make their pastime at my sorrow. They should not laugh if I could reach them, nor shall she within my power.
You must not enter.
Nay, rather, good my lords, be second to me. Fear you his tyrannous passion more? Alas, than the queen's life, a gracious innocent soul, more free than he is jealous.
That's enough.
Madam, he hath not slept tonight. Commanded none should come at him.
Not so hot, good sir. I come to bring him sleep. 'Tis such as you that creep like shadows by him, and do sigh at each his needless heavings. Such as you nourish the cause of his awakening. I do come with words as medicinal as true, honest as either to purge him of that humor that presses him from sleep.
What noise is there, Hope?
No noise, my lord, but needful conference about some gossips for your highness.
How? Away with that audacious lady. Antigonus, I charge thee that she should not come about me. I knew she would.
I told her so, my lord, on your displeasure's peril, and on mine, she should not visit you.
What? Canst not rule her?
From all dishonesty he can, in this, unless he take the course that you have done. Commit me for committing honor. Trust it, he shall not rule me.
Lie you now, you here, when she will take the ring. I let her run, but she will not stumble.
Good my liege, I come, and I beseech you, hear me, who profess for yourself a loyal servant, your physician, your most obedient counselor, yet that dares less appear so, in comforting your evils, than such as most seem yours. I say I come from your good queen.
Good queen.
Good queen, my lord, good queen. I say good queen, and by combat make her good. Were I a man, the worst about you.
Force her hence.
Let him that makes but trifles of his eyes first hand me on mine own accord. I'll oft, but first I'll do my errand. The good queen, for she is good, hath brought you forth a daughter. Here 'tis, commends to your blessing.
Out, mankind witch. Hence with her, out of the door, a most intelligencing bawd.
I am as ignorant in that as you, in so entitling me, and no less honest that you are mad, which is enough, I'll warrant, as the world goes, to pass for honest.
Traitors! Will you not push her out? Give her the bastard, thou dotard. Thou art woman tired, unroosted by the dame partlet here. Take up the bastard. Take it up, I say. Give it to the crone.
Forever unvenerable to be thy hands, if thou takest up the princess by that forced baseness which he has put upon it.
He dreads his wife.
So I would you did. then 'twere past all doubt you call your children yours.
A nest of traitors.
I am none by this good light.
Nor I, nor any, but one that's here, and that's himself. For he the sacred honor of himself, his queens, his hopeful sons, his babes, betrays to slander, whose sting is sharper than the swords, and will not, for as the case now stands, it is a curse he cannot be compelled to, once remove the root of his opinion, which is rotten as ever oak or stone was sound.
A callet, a boundless tongue, who late had beat her husband, and now baits me. His brat is none of mine. It is the issue of Polyaxenes. Hence with it, and together with the dam, commit them to the fire.
It is yours. And might we lay the old proverb to your charge, so like you, 'tis the worse. Behold, my lords, although the print be little, the whole matter the copy of the Father. Eye, nose, lip, the trick of a frown, his forehead, nay, the valley, the pretty dimples of his chin and cheek, his smiles, the very mold and frame of hand, nail, finger, and thou, good goddess nature, which hast made it, so like him that got it, if thou hast the ordering of the mind too, amongst all colors, no yellow in it, lest she suspect as he does, her children not her husband's.
A gross hag, and Lozo, thou art worthy to be hanged. That will not stay her tongue.
Hang all the husbands that cannot do that feat. You will leave yourself hardly one subject.
Once more, take her hence.
A most unworthy and unnatural lord can do no more.
I'll have thee burnt.
I care not. It is a heretic that makes the fire, not she which burns in it. I'll not call you tyrant, but this most cruel usage of your queen, not able to produce more accusation than your own weak, hinged fancy, something savors of tyranny, and will ignoble make you, yea, scandalous to the world.
On your allegiance, out of the chamber with her. Were I a tyrant, where were her life? She'd just not call me so if she did know me one. Away with her.
I pray you do not push me, I'll be gone. Look to your babe, my lord, 'tis yours. Jove send her a better guiding spirit, which needs these hands, you that are thus so tender o'er his follies. Will never do him good, not one of you. So, farewell, we are gone.
Oh, thou traitor, hast set on thy wife to this? My child, away with it. Even thou that hast a heart so tender o'er it, take it hence, and see it instantly consumed with fire. Even thou, and none but thou, take it up straight. Within this hour bring me word 'tis done, and by good testimony, or else seize thy life with what thou else calls thine. If thou refuse and wilt encounter with my wrath, say so. The bastard's brains with these my proper hands shall I dash out. Go, take it to the fire, or thou settest on thy wife.
I did not, sir. These lords, my noble fellows, if they please, can clear me in.
We can.
Generally, he's not guilty of coming hither.
You're liars all.
Beseech your highness, give us better credit. We have always truly served you, and beseech so to esteem of us, and on our knees we beg, as recompense of our dear service, past and to come, that you do change this purpose, which being so horrible, so bloody, must lead on to some foul issue. We all kneel.
I am a feather for each wind that blows. Shall I live on to see this bastard kneel and call me father? Better burn it now than curse it then. But be it, let it live. Shall not neither. You, sir, come you hither, you that have been so tenderly officious with Lady Marjorie, your midwife thence, to save this bastard's life, for 'tis a bastard, so sure as this beard's gray. What will you adventure to save this brat's life?
Anything, my lord, that my ability may undergo, and nobleness impose, at least it thus much. I will pawn the little blood which I have left to save the innocent, anything possible.
It shall be possible. Swear by this sword thou wilt perform my bidding.
I will, my lord.
Mark and perform it, seest thou, for the fail of any point in it shall not only be death to thyself, but to thy lewd-tongued wife, whom for this time we pardon. We enjoin thee, as thou art liege man to us, that thou carry this female bastard hence, and that thou bear it to some remote and desert place quite out of our dominion, and that there thou leave it, without more mercy to its own protection and favor of the climate. As by strange fortune it came to us, I do injustice charge thee, on thy soul's peril and thy body's torture, that thou commend it strangely to some place where chance may nurse or end it. Take it up.
I swear to do this, but though a present death had been more merciful. Come on, poor babe. Some powerful spirit instruct the kite and ravens to be thy nurses. Wolves and bears, they say, casting their savageness aside, have done like office of pity. Sir, be prosperous in more than this deed does require, and blessing against this cruelty fight on thy side. Poor thing, condemned to loss.
No, I'll not rear another issue.
Highness's posts from those you sent to the oracle are come. An hour since, Cleomenes and Dion, being well arrived at from Delphos, are both landed, hasting to the court.
So please you, sir, their speed hath been beyond account.
1 day, 3 days, they have been absent. 'Tis good speed foretells the great Apollo suddenly will have the truth of this appear. Prepare you, lords, summon a session, that we may arraign our most disloyal lady, for as she hath been publicly accused, so shall she have a just and open trial. While she lives, my heart will be a burden to me. Leave me and think upon my bidding.
Act 3, Scene 1. A seaport in Sicilia. Enter Cleomenes and Dion.
The climate's delicate, the air most sweet. Fertile the isle, the temple much surpassing the common praise it bears.
I shall report, for most it caught me, the celestial habits, methinks I so should term them, and the reverence of the grave wearers. Oh, the sacrifice, how ceremonious, solemn, and unearthly it was in the offering.
But of all, the burst and the ear-deafening voice of the oracle, kin to Jove's thunder, so surprised my sense that I was nothing.
If the event of the journey prove as successful to the queen, albeit so, it hath been to us rare, pleasant, speedy. The time is worth the use it of it.
Great Apollo, turn all to the best, these proclamations so forcing faults upon Herminion, I little like.
Oh, the violent carriage of it will clear or end the business, when the oracle, thus by Apollo's great divine, sealed up, shall the contents discover something rare, Even then we'll rush to knowledge. Go, fresh horses, and gracious be the issue.
Scene 2, a court of justice. Enter Leontes, lords, and officers.
This sessions, to our great grief, we pronounce, even pushes against our heart. The party tribe, the daughter of a king, our wife, and one of us too much beloved. Let us be cleared of being tyrannous, since we so openly proceed in justice, which shall have due course, even to the guilt or the purgation. Produce the prisoner.
It is His Highness's pleasure that the Queen appear in person here in court.
Read the indictment.
Once again,
Read the indictment. Please, please.
read that thing.
Oh,
Hold on for a minute. Richard, I can't see the top of your head. Please, since you're so tall, I like to see your whole face. Mahalo.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
That's a great shirt, though, gotta say.
My shirt, though, yeah. The hair's better.
Okay,
Read.
officer.
Read the
okay.
indictment.
Hurry on, Queen, to the worthy Leonatus, King of Sicilia. Thou art here accused and arraigned of high treason in committing adultery with Polixenes, King of Bohemia, and conspiring with Camilla to take away the life of our sovereign lord the king, thy royal husband, the pretense whereof being by circumstances partly laid open, thou Hermione, contrary to the faith and alliance of true subject, didst counsel and aid them for their better safety to fly away by night. Since what I am to say must be but that which contradicts my accusation, and the testimony on my part no other, but what comes from myself, it shall scarce boot me to say not guilty. Mine integrity being counted falsehood, shall I express it, be so received. But thus, if power divine behold our human actions as they do, I doubt not then, but innocence shall make false accusation blush and tyranny tremble at patience. You, my lord, best know, who less will seem to do so. My past life hath been so continent, as chaste, as true, as I am now unhappy, which is more than history can pattern. Though devised the play, and take spectators, for behold me, a fellow of the royal bed, which moistly of the throne, a great king's daughter, the mother of a hopeful prince, here standing to pray and talk for life and honor for. Who please to come and bear for life, I prize it, as I weigh grief, which I would spare for honor. 'Tis a derivative,
Derivative, yes.
derivative from me to mine, and only that I stand for. I appeal to your own conscience, sir, before Polixenes came to your court, how I was in your grace, how merited to be so, since he came with what encounters so uncurrent I have strained to appear thus, if one jot beyond the bound of honor in or in act or will, that was inclining, harden be the hearts of all that hear me, and my nearest of kin cry fie upon my grave.
I ne'er heard yet that any of these bolder vices wanted less impudence to gainsay what they did than to perform it first.
That's true enough, though 'tis a say, sir, not due to me.
You will not own it?
More than mistress of which comes to me in name of fault, I must not at all acknowledge for Polynix.
Polixenes.
Polixenes,
Yeah.
with whom I am accused. I do confess I loved him, as in honor he required, with such a kind of love as might become a lady like me, with a love even such, so and no other, as yourself commended, which not to have done, I think had been in me both disobedience and ingratitude to you and toward your friend, whose love had spoke, ever since it could speak from an infant freely, that it was yours. Now for conspiracy, I know not how it tastes, though it be dished for me to try how. All I know of it is that Camillo was an honest man, and why he left your court, the gods themselves, wooding no more than I, are ignorant.
You knew of his departure, as you know what you have undertaken to do in his absence.
Sir, you speak a language that I understand not. My life stands in the level of your dreams, which I will lay down.
Your actions are my dreams. You had a bastard by Polixenes, and I but dreamed it. As you were past all shame, those of your facts are so past all truth, which to deny concerns more than avails. For as thy brat hath been cast out, like to itself, no father owning it, which is indeed more criminal in thee than it, though so thou shalt feel our justice, in whose easiest passage looks for no less than death.
Sir, spare your threats. The bug which you would fight with me, and would I seek, to me can life be no commodity. The crown and comfort of my life, your favor, I do give loss, for I do feel it gone, but know not how it went. My second joy, and the first fruit of my body from his presence, I am barred like one infectious. My third comfort, starred most unluckily, is from my breast, the innocent milk in its most innocent mouth, held out to murder myself on every post, proclaimed a trumpet with inmost hatred, the child-bed privilege denied, which longs to women of all fashion. Lastly, hurry here to this place, I the open air before I have got strength of limit. Now, my liege, tell me what blessings I have here alive, that I should fear to die. Therefore proceed, but yet hear this. Mistake me not. No life, I prize it not a straw, but for mine honor, which I would free, if I shall be condemned upon sunrises, all proof, sleeping else. But what your jealousy awake, I tell you, 'tis rigor and not law. Your honors all, I do refer me to the oracle. Apollo be my judge.
This your request is altogether just. Therefore bring forth, and in Apollo's name, his oracle.
The Emperor of Russia was my father. Oh, that he were alive, and here beholding his daughter's trial, that he did but see that flatness of my misery, yet with eyes of pity, not revenge. You here shall swear upon the sword of justice that you, Clominus and Dion, have been both at Delphos, and from thence have brought the sealed up oracle by the hand delivered of great Apollo's priest, and that since then you have not dared to break the holy seal, not read the secret it.
All this we swear.
Break up the seals and read.
Hermione is chaste, Polixenus blameless, Camilio a true subject, Leonatus a jealous tyrant, his innocent babe truly begotten, and the king shall live without an heir, if that which is lost be not found.
Oh, blessed be the great Apollo!
Praised!
Hast thou read truth?
Aye, my lord, even so as it is here set down.
There is no truth at all in the oracle. The session shall proceed. This is mere falsehood.
My lord, the king! The king!
What is the business?
Oh, sir, I shall be hated to report it. The prince, your son, with mere conceit and fear of Queen Speed, is gone.
How? Gone.
Is dead.
Apollo's angry. The heavens themselves do strike at my injustice. How now there?
This news is mortal to the queen. Look down and see what death is doing.
Take her hence. Her heart is but o'ercharged. She will recover. I have too much believed mine own suspicion. Beseech you, tenderly apply to her some remedies for life. Apollo, pardon my great profaneness against thine oracle. Reconcile me to Polixenes. New woo my queen, recall the good Camillo, whom I proclaim a man of truth, of mercy, for being transported by my jealousies to bloody thoughts and to revenge. I chose Camillo for the minister to poison my friend Polixenes, which had been done, but that the good mind of Camillo tardied. My swift command, though I with death and with reward did threaten and encourage him, not doing it and being done, he, most humane and filled with honor, to my kingly guest, unclasped my practice, quit his fortunes here, which you knew great, and to the hazard of all uncertainties himself commended. No richer than his honor, how he glisters through my rust, and how his pity does my deeds make the blacker.
Woe the while! Oh, cut my lace, lest my heart cracking it break too.
What bid is this, good lady?
What steady torments tyrant hast for me? What wheels, wrecks, fires, what flaying, boiling, in leads or oils? What new or older torture must I receive, whose every word deserves the taste of thy most worst? Thy tyranny together working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and then run mad indeed, stark mad, for all thy bygone fooleries were but spices of it. That thou betrayest Polixenes, 'twas nothing. that did but show thee of a fool, inconstant, and damnable ingrateful, not was much that wouldst have poisoned good Camilo's honor, to have him kill a king? Poor trespasses, more monstrous standing by, whereof I reckon thy casting forth to crows thy baby daughter, to be or none, or little, though a devil would have shed water out of fire, ere do it, nor is directly laid to thee, the death of the young prince, whose honorable thoughts high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. This is not, no, laid to thy answer, but the last. O lords, when I have said, cry woe. The queen, the sweetest, dearest creature's dead, and vengeance for not dropped down yet.
The higher powers forbid.
I say she's dead. I'll swear it. If word nor oath prevail not, go and see. If you can bring tincture or luster in her lip, her eye, heat outwardly or breath within, I'll serve you as I would do the gods. But, O thou tyrant, do not repent these things, for they are heavier than thy woes can stir. Therefore betake thee to nothing but despair. 1,000 knees, 10,000 years together, naked, fasting upon a barren mountain, and still winter and storm perpetual could not move the gods to look that way thou wert.
Go on, thou canst not speak too much. I have deserved all tongues to talk their bitterest.
Say no more. However the business goes, you have made fault. I the boldness of your speech.
I'm sorry for it. All faults I make. When I shall come to know them, I do repent. Alas, I have shown too much the rashness of a woman. He is touched to the noble heart. What's gone and what's past help should be past grief. Do not receive affliction at my petition. I beseech you rather let me be punished that have minded you of what you should forget. Now, good my liege, sir, royal sir, forgive a foolish woman, the love I bore your queen. Lo, fool again! I'll speak of her no more, nor of your children. I'll not remember you of my own lord, who is lost too. Take your patience to you, and I'll say nothing.
Thou didst speak but well, but most the truth, which I receive much better than to be pitied of thee. Prithee, bring me to the dead bodies of my queen and son. One grave shall be for both. Upon them shall the causes of their death appear unto our shame perpetual. Once a day I'll visit the chapel where they lie, and tears shed there shall be my recreation. So long as nature will bear up with this exercise, so long I daily vow to use it. Come and lead me unto these sorrows.
Scene 3, Bohemia, a desert country near the sea. Enter Antigonus with a child and a mariner.
Thou art perfect, then our ship hath touched upon the deserts of Bohemia.
Aye, my lord, and fear we have landed in ill time. The skies look grimly and threaten present blusters. In my conscience, the heavens with that we have in hand are angry and frowned upon us.
Their sacred wills be done. Go get abroad. Look to thy bark. I will not be long before I call upon thee.
Make your best haste, and not go too far in the land. 'Tis like to be loud weather. Besides, this place is famous for creatures of prey that kept upon it.
Go that way. I will follow instantly.
I am glad at heart to be rid of the business.
Come, poor babe. I have heard but not believed. The spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother of clear to me last night, for near was dream, so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow, so filled and so becoming in pure white robes, like very sanctity. She did approach my cabin where I lay, thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech, her eyes became two clouds that fairy spent anon. Did this break from her, good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oaths, place remote enough art in Bohemia, there weep and leave it crying, and for the babe is counted lost forever. Perdita, I prithee cult, for this ungentle business put on thee by my lord, thou nearer shalt see thy wife Helena more. So with shrieks she melted into air. Affrighted much, I did in time collect myself, and thought this was so, and had no slumber. Dreams are toys, yet for this one, yea, superstitiously I will be squared by this. I do believe Hermione hath suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polixenes, it should here be laid either for life or death upon the earth of its right father. Blossom, speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character, there these, which may it fortune please, both breed thee pretty, and still rest thine. The storm begins, poor wretch, that for thy mother's fault art thou exposed to lose, and what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I to be oaths joined to this farewell. The day frowns more and more, thou art like to have a lullaby too rough. I never saw to heavens so deem by day a savage clamor. Well, may I get aboard. This is the chase. I'm gone forever.
There.
Exit pursued by a bear. That's Jim's favorite line.
Yeah.
Shepherd. Who is the shepherd?
There were no age between 16 and 3 and 20. Oh, that youth would sleep out the rest, for there's nothing in the between but getting wenches with child, wronging the infantry, stealing, fighting. Hark you now, would any but these boiled brains of 19 and 2 and 20 hunt this weather? They've scared away 2 of my best sheep, which I fear the wolf will sooner find than the master. If anywhere I have them, 'tis by the seaside, browsing of ivy. Good luck! Be thy will, what have we here? Mercy. On a barn, a very pretty barn. A boy or child, I wonder. A pretty one, a very pretty one. Sure. There's some scape, though. I am not bookish. Yet I can read. Waiting gentlewoman in the scape. This has been some stair work, some trunk work, some behind door work. They were warmer that got this than the poor thing is here. I'll take it up for pity, yet I'll tarry till my son comes. He Alud. But even I, whoa, ho, ho.
Hello, no.
What? Art so near? If thou see a thing to talk on when thou art dead and rotten, come hither. What ailest thou, man?
I have seen two such sights by sea and by land, but I am not to say it is at sea, for it is now the sky, betwixt the firmament, and if you cannot thrust the bodkin's point.
What? Why, boy, how is it?
I would you did but see how it chafes, how it rages, how it takes up the shore, but that's not the point. Oh, the most piteous cry of the poor souls! Sometimes to see 'em, and not to see 'em, and now the ship boring the moon with her mainmast, and anon swallowed with yeast and froth, as you'd thrust a cork into a hogshead. And then, for the land service, to see how the bear tore out his shoulder bone, and how he cried to me for help, and said his name was Antigonus, a nobleman, but to make an end of the ship, to see how the sea flap-dragoned it. But first, how the poor souls roared, and the sea mocked them, and how the poor gentleman roared, and the bear mocked him, both roaring louder than the sea or the weather.
In the name of mercy, when was this, boy?
Now, I have not winked since I saw these sights. The men are not yet cold under water, nor the bear half dined on the gentleman. He's at it now.
Oh, would I had been by to have helped thy old man.
I would you had been by the ship's side to have helped her. There your charity would have lacked footing.
Heavy matters. But look thee here, boy. Now, bless thyself, thou mettest with things dying. I with things newborn. Here is a sight for thee. Look thee, a bearing cloth for a squire's child. Look here. Look thee here. Take up, boy. Open it. So, let's see. It was told me I should be rich by the fairies. Oh, this is some changeling. Open it. What's within, boy?
You're a made old man. If the sins of your youth are forgiven you, you're well to live. Gold. Oh, gold.
No, this is fairy gold, boy, but 'twill prove so. Up with it. Keep it close. Home, the next way. Oh, we are lucky, boy. And to be so still requires nothing but secrecy. Let my sheep go. Come, good boy, the next way home.
Go you the next way with your bindings. I'll go see if the bear be gone with the gentleman, and how much he hath eaten. They are never cursed but when they are hungry. If there be any of them left, I'll bury it.
That's a good deed. If thou mayest discern by that which is left of him what he is, fetch me to the sight of him.
Marry will I, and you shall help to put him in the ground.
'Tis a lucky day, boy, and we'll do good deeds on it.
Act 4, Scene 1, enter Time, the chorus.
I that please some, try all, both joy and terror of good and bad, that makes and unfolds error. Thou take upon me, in the name of time, to use my wings. Import it not a crime to me or my swift passage, that I slide o'er 16 years, and leave the growth untried of that wide gap, since it is in my power to o'erthrow law, and in one self-born hour to plant and overwhelm custom? Let me pass the same I am, ere ancientest order was o'er what is now received. I witness to the times that brought them in. So shall I do to the freshest things now reigning, and make stale the glisterings of this present, as my tale now seems to it. Your patience this allowing, I turn my glass and give my scene such growing as you had slept between. Leonidas, leaving, the effects of his fond jealousies so grieving that he shuts up himself, imagine me, gentle spectators, that I now may be in fair Bohemia. And remember well, I mentioned a son of the king's, which Florizel, I now name to you with speed, so pace to speak of Perdita, now grown in grace, equal with wondering, what of her ensues? I list not prophecy, but let time's news be known when 'tis brought forth, a shepherd's daughter, and what to her adheres, which follows after, is the argument of time. Of this allow, if you ever spent time worse ere now, if ever, yet that time himself doth say, he wishes earnestly you never may.
Scene 2, Bohemia, the palace of Polixenes. Enter Polixenes and Camilo.
I forgot, is that me?
I think Polixenes is you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I forgot. Sorry. All right, I'll read him. I pray thee, good Camilo, be no more important to the sickness denying that there are anything. The death to grant this.
It is 15 years since I saw my country. Though I have, for the most part, been aired abroad, I desire to lay my bones there. Besides, the penitent king my master hath sent for me, to whose feeling sorrows I might be some allay, or I were ween to think so, which is another spur to my departure.
As thou lovest me, Camilla, wipe not out the rest of the services by leaving me now. The need I have of thee, thine own goodness hath made. Better not to have made have had thee than thus to want thee. Thou, having made me businesses which none without thee can sufficiently manage, must either stay for or to execute execute them myself, or take away with thee the very services that thou hast stored, which, if I have not enough considered, as too much I cannot, to be more thankful to thee, shall be my study, and my profit therein is the keeping of friendships. Of that fatal country, Sicilia, prithee, speak no more, which very naming punishes me with the remembrance of that penitent, as thou callest here, and reconciled king, my brother, who's lost his most never precious queen, and children are even now to be fresh lamented. Say to me, when thou sawest thou the Prince Florizel, my son, kings are no less unhappy, and their issue is not being gracious. They are but listening them when thou hast proved their virtues.
Sir, it is 3 days since I saw the prince. What his happier affairs may be are to me unknown, but I have missingly noted he is of late much retired from court, and is less frequent to his princely exercises than formerly he hath appeared.
I have considered this no so much, Camilo, and with some care, as so far as I have eyes under my service, which look unto removedness from where I have lived this intelligence, that he is sent from the house of a homely shepherd, a man, they say, that from the very nothing and beyond the imagination of his neighbors has grown into an unspeakable estate.
I have heard, sir, of such a man who hath a daughter of most rare note. The report of her is extended more than can be thought to begin with such a cottage.
Ah, that's like my part of my intelligence. I fear the angle of that plucks our son thither. Thou shalt accompany us to the place where we shall, now appearing what we are, have some question with the shepherd, from whose simplicity I think is not away, so contrary to get the cause of my son's resort thither. Prithee, to the parent's present partner in this business, and lay aside the thoughts of Cecilia.
I willingly obey your command.
My best Camillo, we must disguise ourselves.
Scene 3, a road near the shepherd's cottage. Enter Autolycus singing. Autolycus, that's me. When daffodils begin to peer with high the doxy o'er the dale, why then comes in the sweet of the year, for the red blood reigns in the winter's pale, the white sheep bleaching on the hedge with hay, the sweet birds, oh how they sing, will set my pugging tooth on edge, where a quart of ale is a dish for a king. The lark, the tiralera chants with hay, the thrush and the jay are summer songs for me and my aunts, while we lie tumbling in the hay. I have served Prince Florizel in my time, wore 3 pile, but now I am out of service. But shall I go mourn for that, my dear? The pale moon shines by night, and when I wander here and there, I then do most go right. If tinkers may have leave to live and bear the sowskin budget, then my account I well may give in the stocks of Outjet. And in the stocks of Outjet, my traffic in sheets, when the kite builds, look to lesser linens. My father named me Autolycus, who being as I am, littered under Mercury, was likewise a snapper up of unconsidered trifles. With dye and drab I purchased this caparison, and my revenue is the silly cheat. Gallows and knock are too powerful on the highway. Beating and hanging are terrors to me for the life to come. I sleep out the thought of it. A prize! A prize! Let me see. Every 11 weathered tods, every tod yields pound and odd shilling, 1,500 shorn. What comes the wool to? If the spring hold, the cock's mine. Oh, I can't do without counters. Let me see. What am I to buy for our sheep shearing feast? 3 pound of sugar, 5 pound of currants, rice. What will this sister of mine do with rice? But my father hath made her mistress of the feast. She lays it on. She hath made me 24 nosegays for the shearers, 3-man songmen all, and very good ones, but they are most of them means and bases, but one Puritan amongst them, and he sings psalms to hornpipes. I must have saffron to colour the warden pies, mace, dates, Well, that's out of my note. Nutmeg, 7. A race or 2 of ginger, but that I might beg. 4 pound of prunes, and as many of raisins of stuff. Of that ever I was born. Oh, in the name of me. Oh, help me. Help me. Pluck but off these rags, and then death. Alack, poor soul, thou hast need of more rags to lay on thee rather than to have these off. Oh, sir, the loathsomeness of them offends me more than the stripes I have received, which are mighty ones and millions. Alas, poor man, 1,000,000 of beating may come to a great matter. Rob, sir, and Peyton, my money and apparel ta'en from me, and these detestable things put upon me. What, by a horseman or a footman? A footman, sir, sweet sir, a footman. Indeed, he should be a footman by the garments he has left thee. If this be a horseman's coat, it hath seen very hot service. Lend me thy hand, I'll help thee. Come, lend me thy hand. Oh, good sir, tenderly, oh, last poor soul. Oh, good sir, softly, good sir, I fear, sir, my shoulder blade is out now, but can't stand. Softly, dear sir, softly, oh, they have done me a charitable office. Don't lack any money, I have a little money for thee. No, good sir, no. Sir, I have a kinsman not past 3/4 of a mile hence, unto whom I was going. I shall there have money, or anything I want. Offer me no money, I pray you, that kills my heart. What manner of fellow was he that robbed you? A fellow, sir, that I have known to go about with dromedaries. I knew him once a servant of the prince. I cannot tell, good sir, for which of his virtues it was, but he was certainly whipped out of the court. His vices, you would say, there's no virtue whipped out of the court. They cherish it to make it stay there, yet it will no more but abide. Vices, I would say, sir. I know this man well. He hath been since an ape-bearer, then a process server, a bailiff. Then he compassed motion to the prodigal son, and married a tinker's wife within a mile of where my landed living lies. And, having flown over many knavish professions, he settled only in rogue. Some call him Autolycus. Out upon him! Prig, for my life, prig he haunts, wakes, fairs, and bear baitings. Very true, sir. He, sir, he, that's the rogue that put me into this apparel. Not a more cowardly rogue in all Bohemia. If you would but look big and spit at him, he'd have run. I must confess to you, sir, I'm no fighter. I am false at heart that way, and that he knew I wanted. Oh, how do you now? Sweet sir, much better than I was. I can stand and walk. I'll even take my leave of you and pace softly toward my kinsmen. Shall I bring thee on the way? No, good face, sir, no, sweet sir. Fairly well, then. I must go buy spices for our sheep shearing. Prosper you, sweet sir. The purse is not hot enough to purchase your spice. I'll be with you at your sheep shearing, too. If I make not this cheap bring out another, and the shearers prove sheep, let me be unrolled and my name put in the book of virtue. Go, the pathway, and merrily at the style, merrily goes all the day, the sad time of the morning. Before the shepherd's cottage, and the glory goes, and